All right, what's up, folks? Welcome to Foreign and Domestic. It is good to be here. It's been a couple weeks. Apologize about that, but we are back. And Alan, please start us off right.
Well, it's been a couple of weeks, and I will do just that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome. How you doing, man?
I am not doing too bad at all. Things could be a lot worse. I've just been working on my buy more warranty car, and just pretty much same old. Lots of work, and that's about it. Everything's been going pretty well in my world.
How's that car handling? Still going good?
Yeah. I ended up getting a new one-piece flywheel and clutch put into it, and right after that, it threw an O2 sensor code, so I replaced that O2 sensor today. No more lights, no more codes. I've got all the control arms and bushings in, and just yesterday, a complete coilover system came in for it. So it's moving along progressively. So hopefully next weekend I'll have all fresh suspension, everything up underneath that car. And then it'll be on to the next thing.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Jamie, how you doing, brother?
Better than I deserve, man. Thank y'all for having me. Alan, I don't think this car's been. Have you had this car that long to be doing all that work on it?
No, I haven't had the car that long at all. But what I'm doing is just completely refreshing the car, and in a lot of ways. There's stuff that I'm doing that doesn't need to happen, but it had a minor rear oil seal leak. Um, and so while you're in there, I might as well do the clutch. Well, if I'm doing that, probably got to resurface the flywheel. And BMW has these oddball two-piece flywheels. And so I ended up replacing it with a lightweight one-piece flywheel. Let me tell you, the thing picks up RPM a lot faster. And it's just because the car's been sitting. So, a lot of seals and stuff I'm just doing refresher work. And while I'm at it, I'm just doing upgrades as well.
So this is not the Jeep that got hit by the animal. This is a different.
No, this is not the Jeep. This is a 2010 BMW 320i X-Drive Coupe.
Okay.
That I picked up for dirt cheap. And so it was in pretty dang good condition. And so I'm just going through the car and doing a whole bunch of refresh stuff and getting it to, essentially, I'm getting it to factory plus.
Very cool, man. Anyway, thank y'all for having me. I didn't mean to take up so much time from the panel, so please forgive me.
No, you're good, brother. You're good. That car's coming along, man. It's a sweet riding car. Low to the ground, but it rides good though.
Yeah, but a Scotsman does fit in it. And he does, trek a number of blocks to get it water when it decides that it wants to act up on me. It's a BMW. It's going to act up.
All right. And that's set for a long time, so it's not surprising. All right. Rob, what's going on, man?
Not too much. doing the normal work. Had to mess with my car as well recently, so I've been playing around with that. And I totally get what he's saying. Sometimes we just change shit because we want to, and preventative maintenance or you know uh, the upgrade kit is cheap, and you're just like, what the hell? Why not? I might as well hit the whole area or whatever. So I did the same thing with other vehicles as well in the past, all the way down to like body bushings, things like that. It didn't necessarily need it, but why the hell not? Yeah, some of us guys like little projects like that. It's little accomplishments, and you feel better afterward, and you can pat yourself on the back, and you can feel the results. But no, I've been stuck fixing a headlight glitch lately, so got new wiring for that. Did that. Everything's taken care of. Bumper bracket that I noticed when I was messing with that was cracked, so replaced that, and just got a bunch of body clips and went around and made sure everything was all the little push pins were proper. So not to the level of redoing my suspension or anything, although that is on my list. But yeah, no, just kicking back. I want to make sure you understand. I get them. I totally get them. Sometimes it's just it's fun when you don't have to do it. It's a bitch when you got to get it done before work.
That is absolutely the case. I mean, this BMW is a toy for me. I still have my Jeep. It just barely broke 14,000 miles. It's not like I need this car. But there's nothing like when you're doing upgrades along the way, that's when it's fun. That is when it's fun, when you have to do it, and especially when you're under the gun where you need this thing for work. No, that's not
Right.
fun at all.
Unexpected funds, when you do it in your free time, leisure, it's totally different.
Right. That's when you feel better about yourself, when you sink thousands into something that has the Kelley Blue Book value of a ham sandwich.
Yeah, but it's about our pleasure, though. It's not necessarily the value. It's the value is different to us sometimes. Not that we're going to get that when we sell it, but it's it's how do they say it? Smiles per gallon.
Yeah, precisely, and that's one thing that this particular vehicle has done for me. It puts a smile on my face every time I drive it.
Balls, what's going on, man?
Well, since everybody else is upgrading their car, I upgraded my tactical Prius, put 2 new tires on it. I vacuumed it, and I put some fuel in it. That's about it.
Well, at least it's a better environment to be in now that it's been vacuumed, and you can actually get somewhere because it has fuel.
Oh, yeah, this thing's been. I had to put the tires on because when I drove to Ohio and I got caught in the rain, I was hydroplaning all over the place because the front tires were like a race tires with no treads on them left. So I definitely needed that. And other than that, knock on wood, the car's it's been really good to me. Got me where I need to go for a really, really low price in surprisingly relative comfort. So for the money I paid for this thing, it owes me absolutely nothing, and I'm gonna drive it all the way to the ground. By the way, Rob, how did you like the BMW I sent you?
Oh, you ruined it. I haven't been to pick it up yet.
Ah, okay.
I didn't know. But if
Then
there's a girl in my PO box, like, you're probably gonna get me arrested, bro.
I'm gonna get no. There's no girl. No, you're good. You're
I
good.
mean, it is New
Okay,
York.
good.
It's a good possibility.
I'm surprised
I'll
you didn't
try
pick
and
it
get
up because I sent it a while ago.
Yeah, I know. I've been kicking myself in the ass. I've said something like twice, but every time I'm near the place, I'm on a time crunch. So I'll definitely try to get down there tomorrow, man, and send you an email.
Yeah, I'm all the way around. I'm slow as shit right now, waiting on the house to sell. Had a prospective buy a couple of days ago, so fingers crossed. You know, I can't wait to sell it and get the fuck out of here.
Well, I wish you luck, but again, on your next round, I think you should make smaller practical houses. Most people are broke. Less big profit,
Yeah,
luxury
yeah.
places.
This one. I didn't really have a choice. I was already set up for that, so didn't really have a choice. Had to go
Well,
through with it.
next round, that you'd be able to build 3 for the price of 1, and cash flow keeps coming in. It's smaller, but it keeps coming in.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan down in Tennessee. I'm in talks with a realtor down there. He texted me a couple of days ago to see what the update is over here if I sold the house. But I had him reach out, told him to reach out about some land down there, trying to get me some details in the meantime. So it's coming. It's coming. Hopefully, before the end is here, I won't be in the goddamn New York anymore.
Make sure you get a guest shack or something. You can give it whatever name you want, as long as I can live out back like a hermit.
I'll get you like a camper for the back.
Yeah, sure, that'll work.
Or maybe a nice double wide.
Ooh, yeah, I'll be in style then.
You'll be like a royalty.
Yep,
It's,
you went
it's,
right over single to double. That's high class.
it's funny because you sound like my girlfriend when we went down to Tennessee to look at the Johnson City, and she never been down south, so she expected a bunch of freaking white trash trailer parks and yeehaw kind of guys, and she came down there and kind of was blown away. For one, she was blown away by hospitality, how super nice everybody was. I'm talking from the gas station to the restaurants to just random people you meet on the street, how simply nice everybody was. She was blown away. And then how nice it was down there, like nothing like she expected. Especially Johnson City it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. It's everything is new, everything is nice, everything is clean. I guess that's what you get when a city is run by the Republicans.
It's amazing how nice the country is when you leave New York or New Jersey area. Shit, people
Yep.
held doors for me. I couldn't believe it.
I'm definitely. I mean, I'm a little scared on the one hand because by myself, starting completely looking for connections and everything. So it is a bit intimidating. But at the same token, I'm excited. I can't wait to get the hell out of here. I mean, obviously, girlfriend's not excited because she doesn't want to leave here, at least not yet. We'll see what the future brings. But I've had it with all this bullshit up here.
So is she gonna stay there for the meantime when she actually moved?
Well, yeah, she's gonna stay here because she has she's got the roots here, a good job. So I gotta go down there and get something going, and plus it'll be easier when I'm on my own because when I'm by myself, I can live in a goddamn camper if I have to. I don't have a problem with that. It's all different when you got significant other. So, I gotta get something going down there. See, we'll see in a couple of months. See how it goes. Yeah, I went shot a match today. Shot like shit, but on the plus side, my sick P320 X5 didn't shoot by itself, no matter how much I tried.
I thought you were gonna say you didn't feel like shooting, so you just let the gun go by itself.
Nah, you know what? I did semi good. Then I had a squib because I'm guessing when I was moving out of the ex's house, I must have mixed the ammo, like my good ammo for the competition with my practice, and some crappy shit must have got in it, and I had a squib. Thankfully, squib was like second to last shot, so it didn't really mess me up that bad. But it kind of threw me the fuck off, and the rest of the day I just couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. It's just we had to wait on the squads before because they didn't really have it set up well. So it just I didn't get out of there till like 3 o'clock. Usually we out of there by 1.
See,
So it was just
I don't know if people realize about what you do there, and maybe people don't glorify it. From what I've seen, there's a hell of a lot of wait. You're waiting on all these other people to run through for you to go ahead and have like what 20, 30 seconds, something
well,
like
yeah, pretty
that.
much. But if everything goes right, that it's not that bad because as soon as as soon as person's done shooting, then you're resetting the stage, so you're doing something. But if they set up the stages wrong and you go to the next stage and you find out you can't shoot because there's 2 other squads backed up over there, and I was sitting on your ass for half an hour just bullshitting, and then it happens on the next stage, that kind of kills the vibe. So sometimes when they have too many people and they put too many squads,
And
shit like
all
that happens.
waiting on the next people to clear the damn hole. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. So that kind of kills it, but it happens sometimes. It goes with the sport. But Sig ran fine. I was a little worried because I was cleaning it last night and I didn't get a chance to test fire after the cleaning, and I kind of fucked it up and I couldn't get it to dry fire. I had to mess with it for a good hour until I figured out that my dumbass pushed one of the pins out of the hole, and that's why the whole thing was happening. But yeah, the gun went just fine. It was just a little ammo issue, and then I
have you
just
seen these recent videos the last couple days?
I don't really have any shooting videos. I got like one video from today. I really stopped bringing the camera to the matches because, for one, ain't nobody watching those damn videos anyway. For one,
I
and,
mean
and, and
the SIG videos. I don't know if you've seen those.
you know what? I take all that shit with a grain of salt because
Well,
we were talking about it at the range today. There were a bunch of guys shooting 6
there's a
and
few
a
channels
bunch
out
of guys
there
that have 6.
demonstration where they repeatedly get it to go off. So
Yeah, but in order to get it to go off repeatedly, they have trigger is depressed. Maybe not
right
all the way, but it is depressed. So
up to like
I
they take up the slack. They take up the
yeah,
slack in it, and then
I
take
get
the
it.
gun just
I
goes
get it.
off.
I got 2.6 and I couldn't replicate that thing with any of mine.
Okay.
If you go, I did a video on it. I couldn't replicate it with any of mine, and I freaking did everything I could. Beat on the goddamn thing with a 2x4, anything, and it wouldn't go off. So it's not happening to
Okay,
mine. I'm
so
pretty sure it's not happening to all of them.
I don't typically like to comment on many people's videos on YouTube because you just have the idiots out there that are keyboard warriors. And I commented on a particular video where a guy is, yeah, he's literally using a knife to pull the pull the trigger back. And so I commented on that, and all these comments coming in, and eventually, of course, there's the idiot comments. Well, that led me to uh, a video by forget exactly the channel name. I think it's like the Trigger Guys or something. They took a panel of 9 different striker fired weapons. Every single one of them does the same thing. Every single one of them. They got a whole bunch of crap talked in their comments about it, so they redid the video and brought in even more guns. Every single striker fired gun, every single one, as soon as you defeat the seer, will end up releasing the firing pin when you manipulate the slide. So it makes absolutely no sense to me still why this is supposedly just a SIG thing. They did it with Smith and Wessons. They did it with Glocks. They did it with Springfields. You name it. You name it.
I don't think we watched the same video, Alan, because the viral video with the guy, Wyoming, whatever, gun wars or whatever it's called, where he put the screw in the trigger to simulate uh, pulling on the trigger like a 1 millimeter. He put basically a spacer, and all he did was press on the top of the slide, and it did go off. He had
Yes.
just a primer in there, and
so
the Glocks don't do that.
No, not according to this other video. These guys are using a mechanical vise that has a caliper dialed in on it. So they're getting a lot more precise with it. And they tested 3 different Glocks. They tested a 19, a 43, and something else. And all 3 of them did the same exact thing.
I'll post a link somewhere. I'd be interested in that.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that.
I remember it was like Trigger Guys is the name of their channel or something of that sort. I'll have to refine that video and see if I can send it to you. It's actually now 2 videos because they got so much crap handed to them in the comments that they ended up redoing the video and actually broadening the study. That's how striker fired pistols are designed.
There's definitely a lot of hate against SIG, especially now with an airman dying and everybody blaming SIG. Meantime, investigation is not even over. We don't even know what the fuck happened. And I was in the army as well. Maybe not U.S. Army, but I was in the army. I know that the training is not the best. Probably same here. And there's a lot of shenanigans, a lot of bullshit going on. So the whole thing didn't make sense. But nevertheless, there's a lot of hate against SIG. And I kind of hate it because we as a gun owners and the gun companies are already being under fire by anti-gunners. And now we're splitting ourselves into pro-SIG and anti-SIG. It's just stupid,
I'm not saying that the 320 platform does not have problems. Don't get me wrong. It may have problems. Do I have a number of them? Yeah, I have a number of them. I've also have many other brands of firearms and many other styles of firearms. But this particular test that they're trying to do, and yes, the guy that put the trigger in the screw in the trigger guard was the one that instigated this bullshit. But yeah, these guys did it right in their video. They put the gun in a vise and then they have a clamp that's attached to a caliper. And so they're able to dial in exactly the same amount of force, and they'll even tell you exactly how many millimeters they're literally pulling the trigger. You're moving the trigger rearward. You're manipulating the trigger. This idiot that made this comment on my comment was like, oh, well, it should be drop safe. And if it gets dropped, then inertia is going to move the trigger. It's not going to move the fucking trigger that much, Nimrod. I literally have a 320 that has 0 take up. Scotsman has shot it. It has 0 take up. I'd have no problem carrying that thing. And it's the trigger on that. Not only it's light, it's crisp, but the reset is short as hell.
So the interesting thing is in the district court in Massachusetts, SIG admitted fault on majority of the questions that the jury asked on the verdict of it. The one that they turned around and denied having any fault to was given enough adequate warnings about the pistol itself, which we all know SIG put out warnings about the 320 God knows how long ago now. So, I mean, there's been plenty of adequate warnings about the pistol itself, even though we all know, I've shot Allen's plenty of times, never had a problem with any of them. I've shot a couple others here and there and never had an issue with them. And a lot of people don't. So it's kind of weird how SIG is admitting fault when they're really not at fault.
Well, one thing that I noticed and nobody's really talking about, and I noticed it at the SHOT Show too. If you watch a lot of videos where cops have these NDs, and there was details where you can see like either shit got into the holster and all that, because almost every law enforcement carries a weapon with a weapon light, and they have a light bearing holster. Now, most of them use a Safariland holsters. Now, in order to have a light bearing holster, they basically have a giant hole, so there's quite a bit of shit that can get in it, and your keys or whatever can get in it and pull on the trigger. And since the 320 doesn't have any other safety, there's no trigger safety, there's none of that. Chances are shit like that can happen. And I've seen at the SHOT Show that Safariland completely redesigned their light bearing holsters. Now it
We lost.
these discharges where with the Safariland holsters and the law enforcement or military, which MPs they pretty much use a Safariland as well. As a matter of fact, the airman, from what I understand, he had the Safariland, took it off the QLS and set it on the table. Why would he set it on the table and point at his own chest? That's beyond me, but.
I think you guys are just overthinking this because it's.
Well, this look. I understand I'm not a law enforcement and I don't carry the gun on a duty and for a prolonged period of times like a cop's in and out of the car. I understand that at some point they look at it as just another tool and treat it like another tool. But you know what? You and me, we both work with the tools. And you know damn well the minute you stop respecting the tool, it'll bite you. You cut your fingers off. You work with a goddamn chainsaw. Chainsaw is a lot more dangerous than a goddamn firearm. So the minute you stop respecting it, it'll bite you in the ass. So same goes with a pistol. I mean, if you sleep with a goddamn gun on your nightstand, you don't have it pointed at your head, do you? So I'm just saying, certain things don't make a sense. If especially if you carry the gun on a daily basis, then you still follow the basic rules. I understand while the gun in a holster and you're getting in and out of the car and you're going above, chasing suspects, whatever, inadvertently you can point the gun at yourself or your partner or somebody else in a holster. I get that. I understand that. But you'd never do it consciously, right? When you're taking the gun out of the holster, or if you take the gun with the holster off the belt, you're not consciously gonna point it at you. That's all I'm saying.
No, but if it did end up, you didn't expect it to go up. My whole thing on overthinking is, it's not an M&P made by Smith and Wesson, so you got to be sketchy. I don't know,
Yeah, but you got look how many M&Ps were made and how many 320s are made, and 320s go in the whole world. You got Norwegian military carries them, and they're literally all over the world. A lot more than Smith and Wesson.
Trust it. I don't know.
No, not anymore, because so many of them are getting rid of them now.
Hey, and that's fine. A guy has already traded his 320 to me. I took it. You know, more power to you. I built the things from the ground up. I literally have bought bare trigger assembly housings, and put all the guts in it to create the fire control group. I know exactly
I'd
how they work, and
I'd absolutely
um,
buy a 320 if it shows up. If somebody wants to get rid of theirs, I'll buy it.
yeah, and I mean, though, people are wanting to get rid of them cheap now. So hey, more power to you. I'll buy them. I'll buy them cheap.
Well, if you're talking cheap, keep me in the loop too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't say cheap without paying you royalties.
And I think with it, honestly, with as many as are out there, if I owned one, I wouldn't be that concerned if I hadn't had a problem. I mean, maybe there is some weird thing, I don't know, but it seems real weird. But if I hadn't bought one and was considering one, I'd have to think about it. And I would love to see that video. Yeah, not that I doubt you, yeah, in a sense, where it's repeated across a bunch of different striker fires, because honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. But if that is the case, I would also state it's not that common for your, holster to be full of shit. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen. So you just mitigate risk and work around it. It's like same thing with
That
driving.
that's one of the
But
that's one of the things that's very good about this particular video is these guys took out the holster equation. So that's not even a consideration in this testing.
That's yeah.
And
If you get that link, you should
and
have and tag it to this show or something like that if you guys can or something.
They can throw it out in the side chat.
and,
We can
and
turn it.
I'm not coming from a stance of pride of ownership. Yeah, I have a number of them. If a single one of them had caused a problem for me, I would probably be getting rid of them myself. It's not a matter of pride of ownership. It's not because I'm a Sig fanboy. I own Rugers. I own Smith and Wessons. I own Springfields. That's not the case in any way, shape, or form. I find it really, really, really absurd that um, people don't understand how guns work and are blaming one particular gun when it's something that can happen across the entire board.
Well, and the other parts of that too is they're taking the word of one entity that said this happened. I don't know if any of you have seen a video of it or anything like that. I've not seen any video evidence or anything like that. So, they're just taking the word of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen video where it went off on the line with an instructor at one point or whatever. But I mean, still, it's like if somebody's touching the gun, it's already kind of skeptical because they usually don't go off unless you're doing something. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and that's the thing of it. I've been on many ranges with lots of different people. I've seen lots of MDs, and first words out of their mouth is, "I didn't touch the trigger." Bullshit. You touched the trigger. It doesn't go off itself.
Well, yeah, and on top of that, I mean, you also have the facts that, like, not only is they usually don't go off when you're not playing with them or whatever, but shit. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Sorry, go ahead. I'll come back to it. I had a point here, but I lost it.
No, and I've literally watched people actually do it. The gun go off, and then sit there and deny the fact that they pulled the trigger. Like, dude, I literally just sat there and watched you.
Okay. Yeah, but it all right. I think I got it. maybe I didn't express it earlier or did, but if it was as bad of a problem as people are saying, like this shit would be happening like 5 times a day with the amount of guns that are out there when you really think of that. Also, people are really gullible and like anything, right? Whether it's CNN, whether it's whatever, people have motivations to push certain things. So a lot of people I know aren't thrilled that they won the military contract. So there's going to be haters there. So it's
Well,
possible
and
getting
and you,
put.
you bring up a really good point there, because think about what we're seeing across the board right now. We're seeing a lot of more lawsuits coming out against gun companies when gun companies haven't done anything wrong. But someone got killed or someone was involved in this, that, the other, and they're trying to sue the gun companies.
Maybe. I mean, who knows what the true motivation is, but with the numbers of people that are out there, I mean, even here on this panel that have them and still feel confident with them, it's probably not a realistic concern. I mean, is it a good practice to point a gun toward yourself? No. Am I worried that my Smith and Wesson is gonna just fire on its own? It hasn't in like 10 years or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's I'm not worried about it, but I still don't point it towards me. That's just kind of common sense, like he was saying earlier, bald. So, but if for some reason it wouldn't scare me, and it's obviously it's never good to flag anybody, including yourself, but I'm not going to be like, holy shit, I almost died because it was pointed towards me, because it's not something that happens. I'm more likely to walk out and get ran over by a car,
I have seen a couple of 4 videos here and there that don't seem right. Like something just doesn't seem right. Like law enforcement officer exiting their vehicle and it going off, and you can't see it directly in the video, but was reported that it was still remained in the holster. Have seen law enforcement that was attempting to subdue a particular individual and it going off in the holster.
Well, and Bald brought up a good point there about that, and I can tell you from a good friend of mine who used to work in the police force, told me a story years ago about his captain, and it had been almost 20 years since he had actually carried his weapon, and they got a call one day, and he had to take his weapon out, and took it out the drawer, and it was green. He hadn't taken out the holster in 20 years. I'm not saying all law enforcement's bad about cleaning their guns and taking care of their holsters and stuff like that, but a little thing gets in there, it can cause major problems, especially if you're getting up and you're running around. It doesn't take much, especially if it's a striker fire pistol.
Plus, all the videos I saw, the law enforcement guys that had that happen to them didn't really look like in the best shape of their life, too.
See, Ozzy carried one for 7 years, and then he got smart and switched to a CZ. Good man.
And let's say, like, maybe that is the case. If it was all that common too, I mean, we'd probably be seeing it with other firearms all across the board. So, as far as striker fired, but even the fact that technically, if it's in a holster, if it's a good holster, nothing should be touching your trigger. So, I mean, maybe there's a holster thing going on, like the go-to holster.
And the other part to that too is you got to remember, cops carry a lot of stuff, and something could have got caught as they were putting their gun in the holster, and they just didn't notice it. And then when they started moving around, that's when it went off. You just don't know.
Yeah. Well, what about the ones with the trigger locks that you gotta, I forget the brand, but you gotta basically put your finger on the little paddle to release it, and you pull it out.
Yeah, like Safari Land, you got your level 2 and level 3s.
And if that's an issue, then maybe they should use something with different retention. I mean, I don't know.
The biggest problem of 320 for the cops is that 320 doesn't have any safety. No trigger safety, no nothing. I think that's the number one problem. And it's just they did it for comfort, for better trigger pull, and God knows what else. But it comes with the trade-off. You gotta watch your booger finger and don't
Is
put it on a goddamn on a trigger.
is
It's a lot easier for the gun to go off.
has anybody searched if this has happened with the Glocks? Because for a long time, military or law enforcement, whatnot, carried Glocks as well. So, and in some cases with lights and whatnot. So, is this something that's has it happened the same handful of times or anything with different firearms? Or that's where I would say there might be something where maybe the SIG's a little fuzzier. Others will do it, but SIG might do it on 2 millimeters less or something where it's not normally a problem, but with this it could be. I don't know.
I would say one of the big
Glocks have a trigger safety.
One of the bigger differences there is how SIG's fire control group is, because you got to remember SIG's fire control group is removable. Not all striker fire pistols have the same kind of setup like that. They have it set up so you can change out the lower end of it, change a bunch of different things and set it up how you want to set it up.
Which was specifically part of the military request for the contract. Ultimately, everybody says it's because SIG underbid everybody else, and I'm not saying that that's not what happened, but like Glock, for instance, was in the final running, but what Glock brought to the table was not what the military had requested. The military requested something that was modular, and what they brought to the table was not modular.
Now, as far as a striker fire pistol and having that modularity, the only other one that is similar with a removable fire control group like that is the Beretta APX. I haven't heard any issues as far as the APX going off or anything like that, but
Me either.
The Beretta APX was in the latest video by these guys, this trigger group guys.
Can you find a link for that?
I'm searching for their channel name.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I call bullshit till we get a link. Well, actually, did they do an M&P?
I think they did an MMP 2.0.
You son of a bitch.
And actually, the regular 320 that they did, was a 320 that was pre-recall. It had never had the recall.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the Battle Bean. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
What's up, guys? What's cracking? Are you guys talking about the 320? What a piece of shit that is?
It had to be conversated about. Of course,
I just want to know which one of you dumbasses bought that piece of shit.
Started it, but
I just wonder which one of you guys bought that piece of shit. Ooh,
well, Alan owns
real quick.
Alan owns multiple. Bald has at least one, and New York Outcast is in the market for one if it's cheap enough.
I wouldn't buy that shit. Hey, just stick to your Glock. You'll be all right.
Hey, man, if it doesn't really matter what it is, except maybe a Phoenix Arms or Sky. If it's cheap enough, I'm interested.
Get a Jimenez, bro. You want to go cheap? Yeah, man. Yeah, and you know, what really, I think what really strikes me as odd with this whole situation with Sig is how it's how they are they're going about it. I don't know. I saw the last email they sent me. Um, talking about all the stuff. I mean, basically, they're not taking any fault for what's going on with the 320, not one bit. And the whole message
What the
is
fuck
just
do you expect? Which self-respecting company would go out and say, "Oh no, we've been selling these guns for 5 fucking years or 8 years. We know they're flawed. We sold millions of them, and we know they have a problem." Are you crazy? Of course they're gonna stick to their guns, even if they know there's a fucking issue. That's just there's nothing surprising. That's just pure capitalism,
the
you know.
same thing
Plus,
with the Remington 700. You guys remember that bullshit?
Yeah, yeah. I would look at it like automobiles. Like damn near every new car has a whole list of factory recall shit. You know what I mean? So you figure. I think Sig did do something where they have their new fixed versions or whatever, but apparently the problem can still be duplicated. So I don't know, but I mean, if even if they made a separate version, which is supposed to be the fixed version, I mean, obviously that's admitting something, you know, you would think, or
Well,
else.
and you got to take some of these videos with a pinch of salt too, because a lot of people are making these videos just for views. So you really got to take them with a pinch of salt.
And that is granted, but it seems to me like there's too many people talking about the same shit, and to a certain point, it has to be addressed.
love it or hate it, the 320 was one of the most fucking innovating firearms in a goddamn century, right after Glock. The way they came out with the modular system, there was no other company even close to that. And the abilities you had, switching calibers, switching slides, grid modules, and all that, it was just out of this world. I mean, love or hate sick. The thing is, they innovate. There's a lot of good shit coming. It's a Keltec. Everybody hates on fucking Keltec, but they come up with some cool shit.
No, they did. I'm not knocking them for what they did, but they're not the only ones that made stuff with conversion kits and shit like that.
So
Not
the channel
not
name
like
that
that.
I'm
Not so
referring
easy.
to, I found it. It's called Trigger Smart. They do have a couple of 3 or 4 different videos on this exact subject. And yeah, one of them is very, very long. They go through all the different testing. They go through drop testing, they go through the vice testing, and they give you actual measurements off of the base caliper that they're using to pull the triggers. But yeah, the Trigger Smart is the name of the channel, and I dropped that link in the side chat.
And for anyone that
Get the
misses
shit out of me
what
for crying
All
out
right,
loud. Swear to God, I'll put a fucking belt. Sorry.
what?
for,
See,
for anyone
somebody's
that
making their
watches
smoothie, man.
anyone that watches the show afterwards, I'll put a link down below so you can watch it if you miss it.
Well, I don't
I,
know if I want to thank you for finding that or not, because if you say an M&T in there, it was in there, then I still want to call bullshit, but we'll see.
Well, again, the thing
Yeah,
with
I
it,
can't remember honestly if it's in the first video or in the second video, but I'm pretty positive a 2.0 was in there somewhere.
again, it's the system itself. Whenever you're working on a strike and fire system, it's different.
Did you put it in now? Sorry.
So it's very
All
possible
right,
that
yeah,
it's
I'll
the
keep an
same
eye on it.
thing.
Thank you. No problem. I'll be back. That's my line. I'll be back.
Well, Mario, you got any experience with this 320?
No, thank God I didn't. I was retiring when they were bringing that shit into the unit, and
Yeah.
I never got to shoot it, never got to mess with it. I was a little bit hesitant about it because I was not crazy about the whole modular thing. I was like, "No, I'm not crazy
All
about
right,
that shit."
so tell me you don't know shit without telling me you don't know shit. You're gonna be bitching about the gun, how bad it is, what a piece of shit it is, but you never actually held it in your hands, never fucking fired it. You got zero goddamn experience with the gun. Yeah, you sound like a fucking army guy.
Oh, hey, you sound like a fucking moron that you bought a fucking gun and you can't even use the motherfucker.
I
Have you
use it all the time.
How does that make you any better?
I don't
have
know what
you
the
Shut the
fuck you're
fuck
talking
up.
about. I just
Shut the
used it
fuck
today.
up. You
I just
fucking bald
shot
piece of
200 rounds
shit.
through the fucking
You
gun
kiss
at
my
the
ass.
competition. You
Yeah, it
know,
don't fucking matter shit.
it
Boy,
matters a lot. I
It's
shoot
just
the
here's my
fucking gun a
thing.
lot.
He asked me a question, I answered it. I didn't
Yeah, but
fucking
you got no
lie.
fucking knowledge. You're like a
I didn't
Democrat.
fucking lie. It doesn't
You,
fucking matter. He asked me a question, I answered it. Just because you don't like my fucking answer is your fucking problem. Go fuck yourself.
you can tell you're coming from fucking California.
oh Jesus! All right, enough of the butt hurt. Enough of the butt hurt. Enough
uh,
of the butt hurt bullshit.
Mario, do you have you spoken to anybody that's using it in service by any chance? Like, do you have any
Yeah, yeah.
insight on
We have
that?
a lot of our guys used it, and a lot of our guys are using the Safari Land holsters on them, similar to what that airman had. So that's what struck me as odd with the whole situation, because they pretty much are using the same holsters that airman who passed away had. So
Along with myself, I do when I carry outside the belt, it's in a safari land.
yeah, it's just, I mean, that's the most common fucking holster that everybody uses for those types of guns. You know, I mean, you know what really strikes me as odd and as sad about the whole situation is that the parents of that airman can't sue fucking SIG. That's fucking sad.
Yeah, there was the report that came out that the judge basically said that there was no compensatory compensation that was going to be viable. Something to that extent, right, Mario?
Yeah, something like that. And it was it's just sad, man. You know, because you know this guy was just pretty much just putting his gun. You know, I don't know, but that whole situation, it's bad. It looks bad for
Well,
on anybody, on everybody, really. And at this point, so at this point, what does the military do? They bring back all the M9s they put in storage until
Well,
they can figure something
let
out.
me ask you a question. You might have more insight than any of us. Um, so the holsters that military use, is it going to be like the ALS holsters, the automatic locking, to where it retains the firearm with the
Yeah,
automatic
correct,
lock?
correct. Yep, all of them are like that. They're all built that way because that's what we've been. I mean, I've been using that since I was in Iraq. I mean, honestly, if I didn't have a Safari Land holster, I wouldn't be here with you guys.
Why? Why don't you elaborate on that a little bit?
We were in Iraq, and fucking group of demonstrators came all around me. One of them tried to fucking yank my pistol, and
Oh,
if it
okay, that
wasn't,
makes sense.
yeah, yep,
Well, the actual investigation into this airman's death is not even over, so there was no real ruling yet. So we still don't know what happened, and I just hate when everybody makes all these decisions and all that, and there was no determination like what exactly happened. For all we know, there could be another airman that were monkeying around, and like I know from personal experience, when I was in the army as 19-year-old,
hmm
and I was on duty, we didn't have
hmm
pistols, and the
hmm
freaking CO showed up that was a year older than me, and he had a pistol. They were carrying
hmm
CZ82s, and I'm like, oh, can
hmm
I see that? And he took it out of the holster and handed it to me, handed straight to me with the one in the pipe, and a
Oh
full
my god,
magazine. So you know
those
that's
are
just
great pistols, by the way.
yeah. But what I'm saying, he handed me loaded freaking gun, never checked it, never cleared it, nothing. So if I'd be thankfully I wasn't complete dumbass. He didn't just freaking point at something and pull the trigger. So I mean, we don't even know. Shit like that could have happened there as well. So
Yeah, no. I think the other report that came out, and like I tell you, there's still it could be speculation that he took the holster because the holster has a snap-on feature. You can take it off and you can put it on. But why would you take your pistol off if you're on duty? I never took my pistol off whenever when I'm on duty. I had that thing on in my holster the whole time. Never took it off. So I'm just wondering what the problem was or what he was doing. If he was off duty or he was getting ready to go off duty. And I'm not even sure if they have some sort of video device in that guard shack where he was at. Because then that would tell a lot of things. But it's just sad because the
Yeah,
last thing
because
we
it's
want is
still
to have a
it is a very sad, tragic thing. It really is. Us not knowing what happened. Yes, the airman did handle it. In the aspect of even if he was releasing the holster from the belt line through the fork system, it was still being handled. And you you look at concealed carry statistics, and most accidents happen when people are putting their holsters in or taking their holsters out. It's kind of a known thing, even just in the concealed carry area. More or less law enforcement and everything else. Yes, we need. There's a lot that we still don't know how it happened. I'm not saying that the 320 doesn't have problems, but we just we don't know yet. We haven't gone through all the investigations to find out.
I think it's interesting that he's saying that they can't sue SIG. Now, normally, I'm against suing gun companies because of the fact that you know you're not really responsible what somebody does with your product. But if your product is defective, if every time somebody pulls a trigger on your product, it blows up in their face, that's a problem, or whatever the case may be. So whether that's a gun company or not, you should be able to sue for that. If they do have, if it is proven they have a significant problem, and this guy did something that 100 other guys have done, but he got shot because of the problem, then maybe they should get looked at for that problem. I don't know, but
Well, and
I,
and,
as a
and
whole, I'm not I don't like lawsuits. Period. In a lot of cases, because especially when it comes to death, unless this guy's got a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, a wife. What's this money going to do? Honestly, is it really going to fix anything? It's just going to be a dig at SIG. It's like all it does is create profit, and everybody's suing for profit. You know what I mean? That's really all it's doing. If it's going to provide for his children and actually make up for the loss, and that's never what they say it is. The average life they quote is $250,000 typically is what they'll pay off most insurance companies for a human life. Think about how much an individual can make and save by their talents or skills, over a lifetime or half a lifetime. That's nothing. It's literally nothing. So the money's usually bullshit anyway. The lawyers get the money. You know what I mean? And the parents go out and buy a condo or some shit. So it doesn't really do anything half the time. But
yeah, but
anyway,
I don't agree. I don't agree with suing the gun company because the airman worked basically. If you look at it, he worked for the Air Force. Gun wasn't his. Gun was issued to him by the Air Force. Air Force purchased the gun from the SIG, tested the gun,
but
agreed
then
that the gun is okay. So
on the
if
air.
somebody should be sued, it should be Air Force, not the SIG. And Air Force can take the grievance with the SIG. Bottom line is there's no way the airman or his family should be able to sue the SIG. If the Apache goes down, what, they're gonna sue the freaking manufacturer of the helicopter? You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing.
Well, if the helicopter just for no reason exploded a brand new helicopter, no human error, then that would probably be a problem. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but they're not gonna go after the manufacturer of the helicopter as well. So
I mean,
the bottom line
Tide,
is, you know,
I mean, look,
Tide laundry detergent was not getting sued when kids were eating Tide Pods.
Correct.
You did bring up a good point earlier, though, Bald. I will say that you did bring up a good point earlier. The investigation is not over.
Machine
When it's still an active investigation, they're not gonna have any way to be able to sue until that investigation's over.
And I can understand that as well. Until something's proven that there's a fact or something wrong, then yeah, obviously you got nothing to go sue upon. But again, as a whole, I'm not with the suing in general. But you know, if
and
drink the soda and it kills you or something, you know, that a Coca-Cola is not supposed to kill you in one drink. You know, something's wrong. You know what I mean? So that would be possible a potential lawsuit against Coca-Cola. But in the end, the money's not replacing the person. And that's one thing, like to sue to have laws changed or something, whatever, that's one thing. But to sue just for money, I think that's what's wrong with the country. That's why we got a bunch of stupid people.
Well, we got a bunch of stupid people for a lot of other reasons, but that's
and I understand you guys' point of view, and it's valid. But to a certain point, like there's been known incidents with these guns, and it's like videotaped. It's been documented more than once. There's police agencies taking these off their inventory, all this other stuff. So to a certain point, when do you decide to take action then?
Oh, and again, I'm not saying they can't sue. What I'm saying is the investigation is not over. Until that investigation is over, they're not going to allow anything to happen. I got if it's truly SIG's fault 110%, and the family deserves it, absolutely. I got no issues with that. But the thing of it is you know, again, we need a part of the issue too is we'll probably never know exactly what happened because you know it's the military, so they're probably not going to tell us exactly. They may tell the family, but they probably won't tell the general public.
They won't tell the family if it affects them in the long run. They'll keep that to themselves.
So you got to bear that in mind too. That we're going to be given limited information. But if they were truly at fault, then
this particular test that everybody's putting around now, where the trigger is being depressed to a certain point, and then the slide is being manipulated. I just ran through that test with my Ruger 9E, and it failed.
Yeah.
And again, the striker fire system is essentially, you know, they're all essentially the same. Yes, there are differences with a removable fire control group, but it's essentially the same kind of system.
Well, I think the key would be a better holster setup, something to prevent anything from depressing the trigger, ever.
I mean, but if you really look at the gun itself, I mean, it's not cosmetically different than any other SIG. If you look at, it's not different from the 226 or the 229. I that's why it kind of strikes me as odd that they're having so many problems, and I never heard of this happening to a 226 or a 229.
Well, and and really, like I said earlier, I've built these fire control groups from the frame out. I've literally bought just the frame that has the serialized part and built these things from the ground up, with like competition style triggers, or competition springs in them to make them lighter and everything else. Um, it, it's really not like any other trigger system. It's identical basically to any other trigger system, other than it's all encapsulated in this one chassis, where most striker fireds, the entire trigger system is encapsulated in the grip. That's virtually the only difference in the way that the fire control group is set up in these particular styles of pistols compared to any other striker fired.
Well, and to your point, Mario, the 226 and the 229, those are all hammer fire. So you're not going to probably see that with that type of firearm. Is it still possible that something could happen there? Absolutely, of course. But there's a lot more going on with that trigger versus a striker fire pistol.
Is SIG an American company?
No.
So German, what, Swedish or
Well, I
something?
just want to say, that's
It's
what we get, damn it, for not having American arms support America. That's what we get. We deserve this bullshit right here. That's all I'm saying.
It's a German company.
So to completely and entirely shift gears, yesterday I had the opportunity and the pleasure to take a couple out. The gentleman had shot before, but it had been many years since he had done any shooting, and his woman are both interested in possibly becoming concealed carriers. And she actually had never held a firearm in her life. And so it was a absolute pleasure, and a very good experience for everybody. Took them out to the range, started working solely on safety and safety and safety. Then it was about grip and what to expect before doing anything. Some of you may or may not know, but I did purchase at one point a SIG P322 specifically for this kind of training people, people that had never held a handgun in their life, that are looking to possibly become concealed carriers. The P322 is a good candidate, simply because, well, it's small, but it's not ultra small. It's the same size as my P365. And it being a 22 long rifle, it's not something that's going to be abrupt and really put people off on carrying something. Now, I don't endorse, and I tell them I don't endorse you carrying a 22, but if that's what you have and that's all you have, carry a 22. But it was a phenomenal experience by everybody. I got to feed this couple a lot of information. They had a great time. They ended up wanting to go a little bit bigger, and so we went to 9mm. Then they wanted to go a little bit bigger, and we went up to 10. And another one of the people that came to the range with us even brought his 50 AE, and so they worked themselves up, and they both ended up shooting a 50 AE. They had a great time, and they're looking to get um, some more coaching from me, and it looks and sounds like we're going to have another couple that will be confident in becoming concealed carriers.
It's awesome, man. Awesome. I do have a question now. Uh, are you like a rapper, possibly drug dealer?
Yeah, absolutely, Viejo. The
MC
22
Shit
in your
Show.
hand is better than
Oh,
the
it's
44 at home.
same.
Yeah, if that's what you got, that's what you shoot. If that's what's on you, that's what's on you.
All right. Oh, no, I get it. You
The
rocking the beat.
female, she's actually a very, very small, petite female. And yeah, I found that a 22 pistol is one of the best ways to initiate somebody that had never actually shot a handgun, more or less any kind of gun before.
No, I'm totally with the 22. I don't know about that SIG thing. It seems a little small. I mean, maybe their first shots. I don't know. Whatever. But anyway, I'm totally with that. I'm just got a picture in my mind of you rolling up. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to shoot. And you got your beamer and stuff, and
I was gonna say he bought that Beamer for a reason.
yeah. And now he's got friends showing up with shooting 50, Desert Eagles. So, was it gold plated? I mean, was there gold chains going around too? I mean, all we're missing is like a girl doing a torque off the hood of your car. So,
Didn't
assume
Alan tell you he's got a gold tooth too?
he does. Okay, it fits. Okay, all right. I'm just trying to get the picture right in my mind.
Oh, that's good, man. It's always good when you get someone else out to the range and get working with people and introduce people to it. I'm working with my landlord right now. He actually just bought one, so he'll be coming over here, and I'll be working with him, getting him set up, getting how to understand it and learn how to shoot it properly.
Yeah, I honestly, I think that's like he was saying, a good day. I think that's one of the best feelings is when you really do introduce somebody else that's honestly interested into it, and they ask you to, they actually ask you, it's like family members that'll ask somebody else or whatever. Uh, yeah, and you go ahead and show them they enjoy it, and you help them start their journey. Because in a sense, that could be the journey that in one day defends them, could be their kids, picked up from this. You never know where they're going to take it. So uh, I would like all good people to be armed and have that, you know, worst case scenario defense, and a lot of people in some cases, especially I see it here where, they just guns are a taboo. So, you know, it's almost bred into them to depend on somebody else when often in serious situations, somebody else comes to write a report about what happened. You know, they don't stop what happens. You know what I'm saying? So that's on you. So it's always great to see people actually take action in their own defense. It's the same with like if you're gonna marry somebody, if they're one of them people that won't even fight for themselves, think about what about your kids? That's kind of sketchy. Like I'm sorry, but I think that's sketchy. Like these teachers that wouldn't stand up for themselves or their own damn kid, you're gonna trust them with yours. I don't like. I just don't like the idea of people like that. Like everybody's got to have a line.
All right. We got lots of good conversation going on. We're a little past halfway. We missed going through the side chat. So, Alan, if you would, sir, please go through the side chat real fast. And just a quick mention out there, if you guys didn't know, Christian just went over 6,000. So if you guys go show him some love and support, congrats, man. All right, Alan, if you would, sir.
Oh man, yeah. Still looks like Baldwin Curious is out there just listening away. I think his internet wouldn't let him join back in. Bama Dad, Chessboard. We got the greatest Chico Wise out there. Kristen Grass, Fudd with a gun. Yeah, he showed up too. Viejo. We've had a lot of great people out there. For some reason, G23, Big P, Dwayne 7834, Walter Davis, Ozzy Osbourne, M. Gabriel, Garage Guy 879. Lots of great people out there. Appreciate you all. Probably more, but YouTube is giving me some hassles right now.
Awesome. Good deal.
Yeah, it truly is one of it truly is one of the best feelings when you do get inquired about and go ahead and help somebody start that journey, exactly like you said, Rob. If it's, because at that point you're helping them help themselves, and that very well might lead to them helping themselves, helping someone else. Those actions could have a very strong ripple effect, and it's one of the best feelings when you get a great response and people are willing to learn and want to learn and are excited about it. And
that's it for me. For me, it's when you see the look on their face change, and you see them fall in love with it. You can literally just see it happening as they're on the range, starting to get a good understanding of what's going on, and you just see their facial expressions completely change, their whole body mechanics change, and they start to understand what's going on, and you see that little smirk come on their face, and they're getting happy about what's happening. And, it's huge. It's absolutely huge.
And it's even better when you start to reload and you start making your own ammunition. I think that's when I got hooked.
Was Jamie talking or chewing?
I was trying to say,
Okay.
Christian got over 6,000. He put a video out. I think it was yesterday or today. He's doing a giveaway. So if y'all can get over there and get entered in that video and that in his giveaway. He's backstage waiting, man.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah. I'm getting this. My camera's not doing right. I'm going to restart and come back, okay? See how it's...
We heard you, James.
Strobing. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm wondering if something's going on with StreamYard, because it seems like every time they change something, something's going on with the cameras and the mics.
Yeah, I've had that same problem before.
Yeah, I tried to jump on a chat yesterday and nothing would work. but they changed something
Now,
else. But they changed something else with StreamYard again, so I don't know.
is it just guns, or is it a guy thing or a people thing? But do all of you just kind of enjoy like taking somebody to see something new for the first time, like an
Oh
area
yeah,
of
it
the,
doesn't.
like giving people that first experience is like a thing, right? I mean, is it a guy
Yeah,
thing? Or,
doesn't necessarily have to be guns. You know, uh, I don't know how many folks know out there, but I'm a woodworker and stuff like that. I've been doing that since I was a kid. Um, so I like teaching people how to use different tools and stuff like that, and build their own stuff. And Alan works on cars. I work on my own stuff for the most part, as much as I can. So yeah, anytime I can show someone something else and help them, make themselves a little bit better. Yeah, man, that's what it's about, dude.
Come on, Rob. First time is always the magic time.
yeah, well, I just mean like in general across the board. I mean, maybe your hobby was rock climbing, so you're speaking to somebody and they're interested, so you take them out and and show them how to put a harness up. So I mean, you take them through the ropes where you enjoyed it at a time in life, but necessarily didn't inspire you. Now you're back into it, whatever the case may be. I mean, it seems like not even necessarily just that, just the simple fact of, I guess, being the first to take somebody skiing or whatever the case is, whatever, it's always, it means more, I guess, in a way to us, right? Or is it just me?
No, it does, man.
No, it
It's
does,
always
bro.
cool when you can see, again, you see that reaction in the person's face, and when something clicks to them and they start to have a good understanding. And again, it doesn't just have to be with guns; it's with anything that we're teaching people. Um, when you see it click, that's what makes the difference, because now they're starting to understand it, and you can be proud of yourself for what you did. You're passing on the knowledge, and that's what it's about, man. We got to pass that knowledge on. You can't just hang on to it. You got to pass it on. It's just like all the years that I've been in the gun industry. I was lucky enough that I had a lot of people take me under their wing and teach me the different things I needed to know in order to be able to do the job properly and able to appraise properly and know the things I know. I wouldn't know half of the shit I know if it wasn't for them, you know. So yeah, it's cool when people do that, and it's always something that we can do and pass on to other people.
I encourage we do when it comes to things. When people are truly interested, obviously pass it on. So I have come across it the other way, where whether it's carpentry, other aspects, where it seems like people want to hold on to the secrets. Maybe they're in fear of their job being taken, or somebody else being at the level they're at or something. But I've seen it in certain areas where some people don't want to, they like to see others fail. You know what I mean? They don't want anybody as them. And
Yeah,
that's kind of
I understand that 110%. I spent most of my life in management, and one of the things I always used to get a question of from people was, why are you showing me this? Because then I could potentially take your job. And my response to them is I need someone to take my job because I need to go somewhere else. And I need to have someone able to step into my position.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna show, if I see someone that has potential, yeah, I'm gonna work with that person and get them to the level they need to be to step into my role. That's the job of a manager. A manager does not sit there just to freaking manage people and do nothing else. Is to grow people and bring them up to another level. Not let them sit there and just be a flat line. You have to grow that person. And again, especially if you see potential in someone, take them aside and work with them.
So
That's the difference between a good manager and a bad manager.
I think we all need to be an example of the good manager and teach, like, you know, the kids and shit how to actually change a tire.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally
Well,
agree with that.
one of the reasons why I do what I do is because I do get a massive amount of satisfaction, personal satisfaction, in being able to spread what knowledge I have. And you know, just depending upon if they're responsive to it or not, if it's clear that they're not responsive to it, they don't care one iota either direction, I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to be like, okay, well, if you don't want to know, you don't want to know, um, and and leave it at that. But people that thrive on knowing knowledge, even if it's useless knowledge that you don't think you're ever going to use in your life, sooner or later, and I'm pretty sure Jamie can attest to this, sooner or later you're going to use it in one way, shape, form, or another. um, you might you might learn something in your 20s and not even use it until you're in your 50s. But
And
um,
sometimes stuff that seems like nothing, like it's just kind of you glance over later, can connect dots to really add up to something serious. So yeah, there's a few levels that goes across, but uh, so yeah, pay attention. Don't, you know, don't just dismiss everything.
See, here's the thing: true leadership is training your replacement. Leadership isn't truly leadership until it's replicated. So every day when you're teaching people things at work or at home, or particularly, especially, and Rob will understand what I'm talking about here. You need to be training your kids to do everything you can do. There's a sign up in my bedroom that it says, "If Pop can't fix it, we're all screwed." Well, guess what? My dishwasher's tore up, so I'm working on that. So, but leadership is not really leadership until it's replicated, and that's a big thing. That is very important. If you're not doing that, it could be to the point where you're holding yourself back from promotion because nobody else can do your job. Think about that.
Right,
That's
and that's one of the big things that I always try to explain to people is I can't progress forward until I have someone that can step into my role. You know, that's what being a manager is. You have to bring that person up to your level. Christian Grass brings up a really good point too. On the other end of the spectrum, they're only going to get what they want to get out of it, and that's true. And if you're really paying attention to the person, and if you understand body mechanics and you understand expressions and stuff, you can see kind of how they're reacting to it. And if you adjust your way of teaching per se, then you can then potentially move forward and get them more involved versus them potentially kind of going off into la la land and not really paying as much attention.
I think maybe in some of these cases we need to try to find better ways to get them interested or make it applicable to things they are into. You know what I mean? In a sense, auto mechanics. If your kids are into scooters, if they're in the bike, you know, get into it, break things down, you know, so they're actually working with their hands, doing things, you know, stuff like that. Spend some time with your kids. I don't mean to preach with people. I'm sorry. I don't know how this got turned into that, but you know, paying for other people to do shit with your kids isn't the same thing as you doing shit with your kids.
No, it's
No, it's a good subject, man, because people nowadays, unfortunately, a lot of times parents these days don't want to actually do anything. They're happy to put them on computers, on their phones, and let them go. and that's why we have so many issues in today's society. Back in the day, my I'm not going to say that my parents weren't exactly active in what I did and stuff, but they weren't always the best there. But I got myself into mechanics and working with my hands and learning different things. And then when I went to college, I got into woodworking and all the rest of it. So, I put myself on that path. My mother encouraged it, but, my father wasn't there for the best part. He was a pain in the ass. But, parents these days, for whatever reason, they're relying more on the system and relying more on computers and phones and all the rest of it instead of actually paying attention to their kids and giving them the helping them have the drive to get out there and do stuff. It's we've had I don't know how many heat waves in the last couple weeks or month or so, whatever. I don't see kids outside playing anymore, dude. Like seriously, They should be out fucking playing, but they're not.
That's been a topic lately in local conversation that most kids are like, if they're not out raising hell, you don't see them out, or they're walking to the store, or that's about it. But nobody's at the parks. Nobody's like riding skateboards, bikes. You know what I mean? Like they might be going down to the store and back, but that's about it. But yeah, it seems like they don't do much. And some kids, like they don't, like I got neighbors, like you wouldn't even know they had kids. Like they don't ever play out back. They take the dog out back to shit in the yard, but they don't ever, their kids are never outside. Never.
So I watched a video this week from a good friend of ours, Sully Shellback, and he was talking about self-defense. And I brought up a point in the comments about how schools today, martial arts schools today, don't teach the same way, and they're all watered down. And the only response I got, which I didn't reply because I was trying to be respectful, so I kept my mouth shut. Because I do like Sully, he's a good dude, so I just kept my mouth shut. But the response I got back was that he understands that schools have to make money. And yes, to a certain degree, I get that. But at the end of the day, if you're not actually teaching proper self-defense, you're not helping these kids. You're not helping these people. You got to be out there actually teaching them proper, hardcore how to defend yourself. And the problem is the society is so watered down and weakened down that all these places get away with teaching stuff that's just not going to do anything.
Hey Rob, the reason why kids in your neighborhood are not playing in the backyard is your fucking neighborhood. From what you told me about it, no wonder nobody wants to be fucking outside there.
Hey man, my kids used to be all around this neighborhood. Like I used to pay the local kids just to make sure my shit got left alone, and then I'd have them unload my truck, do stuff like that. So I was and then on the good side of everything. So when I go out camping or I'm gone for this or that, my shit doesn't get messed with.
Oh, so you pay the extortion fee.
Hey, there's ways of doing things. Keep kids have money. You know what I mean? Keep an eye on my shit. Hey, keep an eye on my. They're happy to keep an eye on it.
He doesn't have Allenbepro protecting him.
But now they're kids ain't doing that. Example like wintertime, my kids would be out shoveling, pushing people down the street, getting them unstuck, all types of shit, coming home with $150 and shit like that, like Jesus, shocking me in some cases, making my type of money. So and now you just don't see that. You don't see kids helping the neighbor lady, cutting her grass, all this type of shit. Nobody's really doing that, at least not in my area. But Bald is correct. I don't live in a nice suburb, so it's a little different. But still, people are changing on that aspect. So and they're getting less capable of doing shit for themselves.
Well,
In
and
my
we're seeing a lot less of kids doing chores and doing this and doing that. You know, we're seeing a lot less of that as well.
Yeah, I never got that where you were just entitled to an allowance. Like as a family unit, we all got a jobs. We all chip in. We're a family household. So doing extra shit is where you get money. Not just it's not just a guarantee. I don't maybe I grew up in a different world. I don't know, but you don't get paid to do the shit you're supposed to do anyway.
I never got paid from my parents for fucking anything. Never. I mean, they would give me money when I asked, like a pocket money. That was about it. And once I was a teenager, I just went work at the farms or whatever the fuck to make extra far. I would go work as a helper at the construction site, whatever, after school, just to make extra money. I never really paid my kids for doing shit around the house. I mean, I would give them money, buy them stuff, and once they had their own cars, every one of them got a fucking job, and that's it. You want to drive around? You want to be cool? I bought you a car. I'm paying for the insurance. You got to come up with the money to have fun. Put a gas in a car and all that. And
Pay for insurance.
my daughter just went back to college, and she was working the entire summer. She was pet sitting, working at the volunteer thing for the dogs. I mean, she was freaking busy. I literally over the last month, I only saw her like 4 times because just there was no time.
Yeah, but I think it's also a reflection of you and as the parents and how they raise their kids and how they give them goals and aspirations. Those are the major aspects of it. The problem nowadays is that most families only have one parent. A lot of single moms out there, and in many cases they're handling both mom and dad, and some cases even working two jobs just to get by. And it's a sad situation. But I think I think also regardless whether you have you're a single mom type of family, I think a lot of kids nowadays don't have any goals, or they don't really know what the hell they want to do with their lives. They don't, you know.
Oh, that's a major issue, man. Um, when I first started working back in the day, I had a goal of buying new shoes because my mother told me she wasn't buying me any more shoes. Go get a job. So I had to go get a job to buy me new shoes. But it taught me a lot of valuable lessons over the years. Um, I like how my brother does it, and I've mentioned it on here before. But my brother has a point system for the boys, and depending on how many points they get for the week will depend on how much time they can spend playing computer games. So they only get, they got to do certain things around the house, and if they do extra stuff, then they get points, and those go towards how long they can spend playing the computer game.
Yeah, but I think it's all about structure too, man. So
I was just
That's it. Absolutely, it's got to be structured, man.
That's a lot of the thing. That's a lot of what I see is households with no structure, no real discipline, and no real one-on-one. Because, like he's saying, a lot of them are single family, and they're trying to make ends meet, and there's not a lot of time. So, but that also is a lack of values, a lack of guidance in some cases, a lack of representation. A father does a lot in some cases. So, so it could be a problem, but at the same time, I mean, you're talking how you did shit with your kids. The way I was raised was a little different than how I raised my kids, and people call me an asshole. But you want a cell phone? That's fine. You can buy a cell phone. You can pay for the bill of a cell phone. That's the way I look at it. Like sneakers, I'll spend like whatever, $60. Anything over that, that's on you if you want to throw it in. I'll give you the opportunity to make some money, but people don't just run around just gifting money all the time. It doesn't mean I didn't buy you stuff or give you gifts or, what I mean? Whatever. You always got what you needed, but the shit you wanted, I'll show you ways to get it. You know what I mean? As far as cleaning my truck out, doing this, counting, cleaning.
You kind of have the Reagan mentality, bro.
Kinda,
I,
yeah. Like,
you guys, I don't know if any of you guys ever grew up poor like I did, but back in the day, I think my parents were in they were in like assistance for like a year because my dad was we were pretty poor, man. And I remember uh, back in the day, they'd be like, "Oh, you're hungry? Okay, here's some government cheese. Here's some powdered milk. Here's some bread that I don't even know where it came from. It just says bread on it. Peanut butter, jelly, and I think that and beans and rice, and that's what they used to give you back in the day.
uh, well, well, for me with my kids, you know, dinner is what dinner is. Everybody, we know what people like, don't like, but we're not all going to be happy. That's where mixed vegetables came in as an all-star. Nobody's in love with it, but everybody can live with it, you know. So you still got to eat like a quarter cup of mixed vegetables, whatever it was, because but it's the whole point. Like, we're not cooking 3 or 5 different meals every night because somebody's fussy or this or that. Like, dinner is dinner. And because, it was bought for you, you do need to eat. Legally, I'm supposed to feed you. I'm going to expect you to eat your damn dinner. So, if you don't eat
No,
your
it was the same way back home, man. We
other
weren't we
time,
weren't we
that's
weren't
it.
allowed to leave the table, dude. You had to finish your food before you could leave the table.
Yeah, yeah. So, all that type of stuff. One of them used to slide food underneath the hutch in the kitchen, like, and figured that out after a while and before the house got infested, thank God. But, kids do a bunch of stuff. But I was a hard ass, is what I'm getting at. But I love my kids. But, like that whole thing, I had to buy them a car. Bullshit. You could kick them in the ass to get a job, tell them to save, and they could buy themselves a damn car. Yeah, nobody bought me a car. Pay for insurance? You must be hot. They're like the worst persons to insure. You got to be crazy. I'm not paying for your ass shit.
Mhm.
No, if you're responsible enough to drive, you should be responsible enough to pay an extra whatever the hell it is. I was paying $200 for insurance, but I was a dumbass and did stupid shit, and that's why my insurance was $200. So why should my dad be forced to pay for my dumbass?
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
didn't purchase my first
The
car.
way I did it with my kids is that the number one job is do good at school. So you know what? I'll worry about the insurance, and I couldn't really ask them to get a job because where I lived before, they couldn't
hey,
get a job without a car. I would
they're
have to
not.
drive them to work.
Got to take a bus. Maybe they got to pay somebody at work. That's part of
There's simply where I lived in the sticks. There was no way for them to get
in
a
the
job and make
like,
enough money to buy a decent car.
I'm not having no basement babies. You wouldn't have made it, Bob.
Yeah, I would have made it. Nobody bought me a car, so that's no. I just
You just have it.
I wanted my kids to have it better than I had. I mean, I might have fucked up a little bit and gave them a little too much. And my wife definitely wasn't, like, oh, she's cooking this for dinner because that's what the kids like, and she didn't give a shit about what I like. But I might have spoiled them a little bit. But you know what? The number one job was fucking staying in school and doing good at school. And both of the kids, I got one with a master's degree that can't really get a fucking decent job, but that's a different story. And I got
Right.
daughter
Master's
halfway to being a vet.
degree today doesn't mean shit.
Well,
Now, put it like
it
this:
means
you and your wife end up dead tomorrow. Are your kids going to be capable of taking care of themselves?
yeah,
That's
they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. If my son, if he had to tomorrow, he'll figure it out. He'll manage, and so will my daughter. He might be a little
they.
spoiled right now because he's got a plenty of backup with me and my sister, if he needs to. But if shit hit the fan and he would have to, I got absolute confidence that he will figure it out and make it on his own.
So you didn't help him change a tire when you were stalking him, when you knew he broke down and needed a tire change.
I when I got to the gas station, he already had the tire off. He was putting a new one on. He might have pulled up the phone and watched the YouTube video,
Make
but
sure.
he managed to fucking do almost all of it himself. I just wind up tightening the bolts because I wanted to show off. So I pulled up my DeWalt freaking cordless wrench and just tightened the bolts for him. That was about it. But he did about 90% himself.
You know, my daughter had a flat tire on the highway, and she had it taken care of before I was even ready to go get her. I'm just telling you that.
My daughter wouldn't even call me. She would figure it out. Somebody would stop. I offered. I tried to teach her. She's like, she didn't want it. I'm like, all right, when the shit hits the fan, you'll figure it out. And I got all the confidence in the world that if it needs to be, she'll figure it out.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta let them make mistakes, man. It's just
Yeah.
the only way it's gonna work.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta let them piss against the wind.
The last thing you want is your daughter traveling back across states, getting a flat tire on some back road because GPS sent them off some Billy Hill somewhere. And
Here he goes. You throwing the Mississippi burning scenario here? What you doing, man?
It's a stranger to roll up. Oh, hell no. You want your daughter to be able to change that tire and never put that tire iron down looking over your shoulder and get the hell out of there.
Well, I've talked about this one before. I brought this story up before, but it's probably about 6 years ago now. I was visiting a friend, and they came and asked me to help these two kids change a tire. And I walk outside and I look and see what they got going on. And they got it raised in the air, trying to loosen the bolts with it raised in the air. And I just kind of shake my head. I look at them in disgust and just kind of walk over and go, "You guys having problems?" And like, "Yeah, we don't know why this won't come loose." I'm like, "Seriously?" And the sad part is their dad worked the fucking shop.
Well, to be fair, we take that on the manufacturers too, because I don't know if you guys know, but most of the newer cars don't even come with a damn spare. They come with a can of Fix-A-Flat. Like to save money.
How did you get a Kia? Because I don't have that problem.
It's just ridiculous. So that's a thing now. So yeah, that's one of the things. Whenever I get a car, I definitely make sure you got a jack spare, preferably a real tire, because those donuts suck in the rain. You're always better off with a real tire if you got the room.
Oh yeah, especially if you live in somewhere in a state where you can hydro. When it fucking rains out here, it fucking rains.
Amen, Bama Dad. Amen.
Yep, that's it, man.
Chico. Sick of Chico.
Wow. I mean, at least teach them the basics and have them understand what's going on. It's just sad to see kids these days just don't have a good understanding of anything anymore. It's all looking in their phones, playing on computers, and not.
I think the kids are a lot more resourceful than we give them credit for. Because there's kids and there's kids. I mean, you'll be surprised. They actually pick up a lot of shit just sitting on the phone and watching Instagram and all that.
I'm not saying they can't pick up a lot of stuff. What I'm saying is that they're not raised the same way. They don't have good understanding of how to get out there and do things with their hands. They don't know how to.
Of course they're not, because we were not raised the same way our parents were raised. I mean, let's face it. Hard times create hard men. Soft times create soft men, because that's the way it is. I mean, I don't want my kid go through the same fucking bullshit I went through. I want him to have it better. So you shield him from certain things, and that kind of snowballs. That's the way it is.
You can only shield them so much, man. If you shield them too much, they're not going to grow up right. That's the thing of it, dude. You can shield them from certain things, but you gotta let them get out there and experience things and actually, build themselves up. They gotta build themselves up.
So the other day I was having a conversation at work with a couple of guys, and the statement that I said I still hold by. No parent wants to see their child fail, but sometimes You have to let them fail.
100%.
And when they do, that doesn't
Think about
mean
it.
win and save the day. That means you let them figure out how to deal with the consequences. You can coach them, encourage them, but you don't just fix their problem. Let them deal with it, so that way they know. It's almost like if they buy their own car, they're actually going to take care of it. If you buy their car, their boyfriend's going to dump it in the pond.
Just think of it this way. I think
It's
I learned more from my mistakes than I did from my success.
Right. If you never allow your kids to fail, and you're always there, you're always going to be their safety net. They're never actually going to challenge themselves, even when they're interested in something. A lot of the times.
That's the thing of it. You got to let them think for themselves. You got to let them get out there and do it. Give them guidance, but don't hold their hand the entire way.
Yeah,
Well,
as dumb and idiotic as they are, you just sit back and go, look at this flippin' idiot. I didn't raise that, but this moron can't figure out how to do this.
It
and
goes
then
back
you
to
point
the
and
old.
laugh. And,
It goes back to the old 70s TV shows and stuff like that. You see a kid take a screwdriver and put it inside a socket. Shit like
What
that.
a dumbass.
Let them fucking learn, man. Let them learn. They'll figure it out. Or, putting their hand on top of a hot stove. Let them learn. They'll figure shit out.
that screwdriver handle was insulated, shorted out the whole system. They got out of class for the day. That was a good deal. Kid got it.
Yeah, let them learn shit, man. Don't hold their hand the entire way. Give them guidance, but don't hold their hand the entire way. A lot of us didn't have that, and it's not the same today. I understand that, and I understand society says you got to act a certain way to a certain degree, whatever, blah blah blah. But like Rob said, man, you got to be a hard ass sometimes. You got to be,
and be honest.
well, and as parents, you don't want to see your kids struggle. You don't want to see them fail. You want them to have better than you did. Sometimes the only way they can learn it is by learning it themselves.
But also be honest, because you got parents that think their kids are perfect at everything. Like if your kid can't sing, then don't tell them to go sign up for American Idol or some shit. You know what I mean? Be honest. Be fair about shit. We all have talents in different areas. None of us are perfect across the board. It's just what it is. We all got areas we're better. We all got areas we're worse. Some of us got no business dancing. So you might not encourage.
Thank you.
I'll throw my hand up at that one. I got no business on a dance floor.
Everybody's not going to be a football star, okay? If run the numbers, how many teams, how many people, how many AAA teams, you know what I mean? Just run the numbers out of the country, and every high school, every teenage boy is just unless they're the goth kid or something, they're all going to be football stars or the next rapper or whatever. Run some numbers, have a backup plan, be honest, be realistic. Don't shit on dreams, push towards dreams, because there's exceptions to every rule, but always have a backup plan. Don't I see that's one of the big things with people. It's just life, shit happens in life. You may have been the best there ever was, and then all of a sudden a garbage can broke your goddamn knee, and now you ain't shit. It's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So you got to have a backup plan.
Well, I hate to quote a movie, but there's always one more round.
I see Jamie smiling over there like, none of you fools can dance. I'll show you all up.
No, but I was thinking about what Rob was talking about. There was a guy that came up for the Braves that was going to be like the next Willie Mays or whatever. His name was Brian Asselstein. He came up in the late 70s or the early 80s. Yeah, he was just going to be the stuff, you know. And he was playing in the outfield. The guy hit a long drive, and he was running to get the ball, jumped up on a chain link fence. Now, it was a chain link fence back in the day, like you guys probably have around your backyard. I mean, literally, at old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. And he jumped up in that fence with his cleats on and jumped to try to catch the ball. And he caught it, and his cleats stuck and his leg stuck in that chain link fence, but he didn't. And it was ugly, real ugly. And we never heard of Brian Asselstein again. So you're absolutely right, Rob. You got to have a backup plan.
Well, and even if you are successful in the thing that you're pursuing, have a plan for when you get out of that. You know, have something else for when you decide you want to leave and do something different. Have a plan. You know, don't sit there idle and think that I'm just going to do this one thing for the rest of my life. Have a plan.
Val, if you had a longer beard, you could almost pass for a pirate.
Arr. I encourage a lot of people have like a professional goal is what I've noticed with kids in most cases. And then on the other aspect, I try to encourage, you know, something, whether it's a trades or, you know, maybe it's a pharmaceutical tech, something that you can do anywhere, you know, as a backup, just in case. And, you
A
know,
drug dealer.
well, you know, honestly, illegal drug dealers are the way to go. I mean, you get flown around the country or picked up in limos. I mean, you know, depending on the level. I actually dated a girl whose father was into that with Procter and Gamble, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, you know, that's where the good money is. I mean, you're going to get a pension, health care, bonuses, commissions, all types of shit. So technically, yeah, but you know, it's I don't know. Try to do something else that could save you money. You know, it's not always about making money; it's saving money too. You know, being able to fix your own problems, you save a lot of damn money. So, whatever it may be, you know, try to point a couple different aspects. So, and everybody's naturally pretty good at some things. You know, so you know, especially if it lines up with something they like doing. So. That way you can go wrong. If your professional job isn't working out, as you went to college, you're in debt, you're taking years to get, you can still survive and pay your bills off being a pharmacist or a mechanic or, you know, whatever else, you know, it may be a plumber, or a HVAC tech, what, you know, whatever, I don't know, whatever your thing is, but something, you know, if you
All
have
of those things beats the lucrative business of dumpster diving. Every single one of those beats that lucrative business.
they all beat can I help you jobs as well. And that's a big difference. I mean, are they top jobs? No, but you could survive off them. And in some cases you can make them, you know, a top job in a sense, but you know, anywhere you go across the country, you can get a job like that.
Well,
That's
I was pushing my kid to become a state trooper. As much as I hate law enforcement after the divorce, as much as I hate cops, I was pushing him to be a freaking state trooper because in freaking New York, it's like a gold mine. 120 grand after what, 2 or 3 years guaranteed. Become an investigator, making 160 grand plus. I'm like, by the time you're 45, you can retire. And if you invest your money while you're working, invest them smartly, then wisely, then by the time you're 45, you'll be a millionaire and have freaking $100,000 pension.
I don't know. I've had people bring that up to me. I don't know. Same thing with the prison guard after all this stuff lately, but I don't know. You know, and in some cases, like you're saying, 125. Then keep in mind, New York State, a big chunk of that's going to taxes right off the top. So, you know, which
Make
obviously
it 75.
between what you make and what you actually get to take home. And in New York, I don't think people realize that difference in some cases. But yeah,
Trust me, the troopers are treated right, and so are the guards. You make good money. Yes, you pay a
yeah,
lot of lot of taxes, but don't forget what you get in return.
I
The
don't
the,
know.
the the
I
pension
don't know.
plan, the healthcare, and all the shit you're getting. And if you put in your 20 years, you're set for the rest of your life. So it's
You
it's
can
a
get
shit job, but
20 years.
We talked a lot about tonight over a lot of different subjects. We've talked quite a bit about teaching and learning and passing things on. And I agree with Rob when it comes to getting out there and learning different skills. Go get a trade. It's a good backup to have. I've done contractor work just based off of my experience. Over the years, being able to get out there and survive as a contractor. If I didn't have that, I would have struggled when I came here. I came here and was able to make it through as a contractor for a little while, and then got into the workforce and blah blah blah, and then later on down the road, I had to get a second job, and I got a second job as a contractor. Having those skills will provide you opportunities at times you may not even think you need them, but they'll be there. So get out and learn that different skill.
Not only that, but if you are versatile in more than one area and you're going and applying for a job, let's say a management job, that makes you look good because that means that you're able to have that critical thinking on different areas and be able to solve problems.
Yeah, he's got a point.
Absolutely. You can put all kinds of stuff on your resume and let these employers know the different things you have available. Um, and you can open yourself up to all kinds of opportunities.
Another thing we talked about is stick to steel frame hammer fired pistols.
Damn straight.
Everything will be all right.
CZ Shadow 2 Compact. CZ Shadow 2 Compact. CZ
Those are
Shadow 2.
nice. I wish I could buy. I wish I could. I was
All
able.
right. With that being said, we'll start going through the room. Bald, what you got going on, man?
not a whole lot. Just trying to survive right now until the house is sold. Taking all kind of odd jobs just to get by, pay some bills, and try to shoot some matches on the weekends. And I don't know. I think I still have some videos left over from GunCon that I didn't get a chance to edit. So I might throw them up for anyone who cares. Because apparently, 40,000 subscribers doesn't mean shit. We can't get 1,000 views on your videos.
All right.
But her Daisy Dukes, you might get more views.
That's the YouTube man keeping you down.
If they were interested, people would watch them. That'll be.
Damn.
That'll be what you got, brother.
Nothing, man. I'm over here just working, brother. I appreciate the invite, man. Good to see all you guys, especially in the side chat. Much love. That's all I got.
Always good seeing you, man. Appreciate you being here. Rob, what you got?
Not much. I appreciate the invite. I like the show. It was definitely a good time, better than the last one we did where everybody took the hell off and I don't know what the hell happened. But, thanks for joining us out there. Yeah, eat a salad, teach your kids right, and don't be afraid to stand up for the good, you know. Don't be afraid to stand out. I don't know. Basically, you see your grandkid over there, or nephew chewing with their mouth open. Say something. Say something. Close your damn mouth, boy.
Right.
Wow.
Don't be a pussy.
Yes, you nailed it. Don't be a pussy. Eat a salad. Don't be a pussy. We'll catch you next time.
All right. Before this goes somewhere else, Jamie, what you got, brother?
Man, check us out Friday nights at 8 o'clock on Georgia Shooting Connection channel. I think we need to start getting back to our roots and do more reloading type conversations. But I got a new bullet mold. Check out NOE. They are Al is retiring. That's a 312 163 flat nose. It has 2 cavities, gas checked, and 2 cavities are plain base. So
When is he going to stop making production?
he already has.
He's already
Oh,
stopped.
that
So I
sucks.
think he's just clearancing everything off and selling off what he has in stock.
You can right now he's selling out inventory at 30% off, and you can also add Full Ed Tacos code and get 10% more off of that. I think that is FLT001. So it's a good time to help support a man getting ready for his retirement, and you get a very nice bullet mold in the process. Other than that, I got some reviews to do. I got some load development to do. I just have no time to do it. So, guys, thanks for having me. Thanks for putting up with me. Thank all you guys in the side chat for being with us this evening.
Always appreciate you, brother. Appreciate everyone out in the side chat. We had a lot of good conversation tonight. Appreciate everyone jumping on the panel. And good to see everyone out there again. Apologize for the last couple of weeks. Last week I wasn't feeling too hot. Had some stomach problems going on, but we're back. It's good to be back. Good to see everyone out there. Alan, please take us out right, brother.
Oh man, yeah, great chat. I'm glad to have seen everybody this evening, man. Yeah, from everything going on with SIG to talking about our kids and raising our kids right. I'm sinking thousands of dollars into a car that has the Kelley Blue Book of a ham sandwich and loving it. I probably won't release a video this week. Maybe not. Still watch the channel, because why not? But as always, keep them magazines loaded and one in the chamber. Woo!